story of a widow who cried on TV about her husband's death, while her phone quietly held the proof of her being the killer. March 14th, 2022. A house in the mountains of Utah. A man drinks a cocktail his wife made for him. By morning, he's dead. But this story doesn't end with a funeral. It ends with a children's book. Her name was Kouri Richins, mother of 3, entrepreneur, smiling blonde with a perfect Instagram feed. After her husband Eric died, she did something that caught the attention of everyone who knew them. She wrote a book, a children's book about grief, about helping kids cope with loss. She called it, "Are You With Me?" She went on local news. She talked about healing, about being there for her boys, about Eric looking down from heaven. The community rallied around her. They bought the book. They praised her strength. But someone was watching, and they weren't buying it. Let's go back to the beginning. Eric and Kouri Richins were married for 9 years. On the surface, they had everything. A beautiful home, 3 young sons. Eric ran a successful masonry business. Kouri had her own ventures, real estate, flipping houses, big plans. But beneath that surface, cracks were forming. Money problems, disagreements, and a prenuptial agreement that became the most important piece of paper in this story. That prenup said something very clear. If Kouri left the marriage, she walked away with almost nothing. No share of Eric's business, no claim to his assets. But if Eric died, things looked very different, especially with life insurance. February 14th, 2022, Valentine's Day. Eric and Kouri went out to dinner, a nice restaurant, a romantic evening, or it should have been. That night, Eric got violently ill, broke out in hives, couldn't breathe properly. His family would later say he told them he thought Kouri had slipped something into his food. He didn't report it. He didn't leave. Maybe he didn't want to believe it. Maybe he thought he was overreacting. He gave her another chance. 1 month later, March 4th, he was dead. The official story was simple. Kouri said Eric had been stressed. She made him his favorite drink, a Moscow Mule. She brought it to him in bed, just trying to help him relax. He drank it, went to sleep, and never woke up. She called 911 in the morning, crying, panicked. The paramedics arrived. There was nothing they could do. Eric Richins was 39 years old. At first, it seemed like a tragedy. Sudden, unexplained. Heart attack, maybe. Something natural. The family was devastated. The community mourned. And Kouri stepped into the role of grieving widow with disturbing ease. She planned the funeral. She comforted the children. She posted tributes on social media. And then, just months later, she published that book. She went on TV. She smiled. She talked about resilience, about finding hope in darkness. People who knew Eric started to feel something wasn't right. The timing, the tone, the performance of it all. Then the toxicology report came back. Fentanyl. Not a trace, not a small amount. 5 times the lethal dose. Enough to kill him several times over. This wasn't an accidental overdose. This wasn't recreational use. Eric Richins didn't do drugs. His family knew that. His friends knew that. So where did it come from? Investigators started digging. They looked at Kouri's finances. What they found was a mess. Debt, failed business deals, risky investments, and something else. Life insurance policies on Eric. Policies Kouri had taken out without his full knowledge. Policies that totaled close to $2 million. Policies that only paid out if Eric died. Then they found the affair. Kouri had been seeing someone else, secretly, while married to Eric, while raising their children, while playing the role of devoted wife. But the most damning evidence came from her phone. Text messages, purchases, Investigators traced a series of communications between Kouri and an acquaintance, someone who had access to drugs, someone who, according to records, sold her fentanyl not once, twice. The first batch in February, right before Valentine's Day. The second batch in early March, just days before Eric died. The timeline was impossible to ignore. Valentine's dinner. Eric gets sick, tells family he thinks Kouri poisoned him. 2 weeks later, Kouri buys more fentanyl. 1 week after that, Eric is dead. A Moscow Mule on the nightstand. She had tried once, it didn't work. So she tried again. And this time, she made sure. The arrest came in May 2023. Kouri Richins was charged with aggravated murder, attempted murder, possession of a controlled substance. The prosecution laid out the case piece by piece: the financial motive, the affair, the fentanyl purchases, the Valentine's Day attempt, the final fatal dose. It wasn't a mystery. It was a plan. Kouri's defense tried to paint a different picture. They suggested Eric might have taken the drugs himself, that Kouri was innocent, that this was all circumstantial. But the evidence said otherwise. The jury didn't need long, 3 hours. That's how long it took them to come back. Guilty on all 5 counts. March 16, 2026. Kouri Richins was convicted of murdering her husband, the woman who wrote a children's book about grief, the woman who went on TV to talk about loss. She had created that loss herself. She poisoned the father of her children twice. And when it worked the second time, she built a brand around his death. The sentencing is set for May 13th. Kouri faces life in prison. The boys she wrote the book for will grow up knowing their mother killed their father. The community that supported her feels betrayed. And Eric's family finally has answers. Not the ones they wanted, but the truth. This case shows something chilling. How someone can wear grief like a costume. How a smile can be a weapon. How desperation doesn't always look like rage. Sometimes it looks like a Moscow Mule. Sometimes it looks like a children's book. Sometimes it looks like a mother tucking her kids into bed after she's made sure they'll never see their father again. Kouri Richins didn't just kill her husband. She performed mourning. She monetized his death. She posed as the victim of the very crime she committed. And if the toxicology report had come back clean, she might have gotten away with it. This is The Red Threads, where every thread pulls you deeper. The next story is already waiting, and trust us, you'll want to hear it. If that sounds like something you want to be a part of, subscribe to The Red Thread. The next story is already waiting.